Joining us right now is Dr. Ray Guarendi, a repeat guest, but he's a clinical psychologist. He's a husband. He's a dad to 10, as I mentioned, and he has 2 books that we're going to be talking about today. So let's start with how to get along with almost everybody. I think I need to read this. You know, as Christians, Dr. Ray, why should we want to get along with almost everyone versus just kind of cutting some people out of our lives?
Well, Bishop, I'm a little uneasy here because I found out that shortly you're going to be having an interview with Dr. Kraft. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you got me first, and then you got Dr. Kraft. That's kind of like going from Wheel of Fortune to Jeopardy in 10 minutes.
Well, we'll try to mitigate the switcheroo here.
We will.
One of the most common questions I get as a shrink is, will you please tell me how to make somebody else be different?
Oh.
I answer, I have a hard time making you be different.
Yeah.
Much less going through a second person. So the book really focuses on what do you do about yourself when you have to deal with people you think are difficult, and hopefully they don't think you're difficult. But that's what happens. This is not the lady 6 houses down the street that you can drive by and just honk because she's a curmudgeon. This is your mother. And you got to get along with your mother, so what do you do about it? That's the aim of the book.
Incredible. Wow. I think I also need to read this book. So I'd love to go through maybe a practical example. Say a family is enjoying a birthday party or birthday dinner, and Aunt Sally starts to pester one of her nieces about why she isn't married yet, when she's going to start dating. How should the niece respond?
If you challenge it, which is what the shrinks tell you to do, they tell you to be assertive, step up, show your rights. Well, as a Christian, when our Lord said turn the other cheek, what he really meant was don't let somebody insult you. You can slap me on the cheek, it's not going to insult me. So I think a good stare is a nice approach. You don't have to answer, you don't have to make excuses, but probably don't say, so why, Aunt Sally, are you asking those questions? You think that's any of your business, Aunt Sally? I want to kind of live my life the way I want to live it. And then Aunt Sally is not about to say, oh gosh, I never realized I was coming across that way. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. That's not going to happen. So much of getting along with Aunt Sally and her intrusive questions is letting them go in one ear and out the other, and recognizing this, fella, you can't stop anybody from saying what they're going to say anytime about you for any reason. You only have to worry whether it's true or not.
I get it. One of the things, Dr. Ray, that I sometimes think to myself is, I don't care. I don't care what they think about me or what I do. I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm just going to say it anyway. But as disciples of Christ, do you think it's a worthwhile pursuit to get to the point where we don't care what people think about us? Or are there certain opinions that people have that we should care about? I mean, like, for example, your spouse.
People think that if you're not affected by what people say or think about you, that you're a doormat. You're indifferent. You don't matter to me, Bishop. That's it. You can think whatever you want, Bishop, and I don't care. That's not what we're saying here. What we're saying is, I've got to try to decide, if I'm going to get along with Bishop, I got to try to decide whether what he's telling me is legitimate or whether it isn't. Now, that's hard to do because we're subjective. However, the dividing line is, does Bishop have a good point to make and I need to look at myself? Or is he just giving his opinion? It's off the wall. It's his own perspective about things, and I can't torment myself because he thinks that way.
I'd love to know why you chose to put almost everybody in the title instead of calling it How to Get Along with Everybody.
Well, Schola, maybe I probably shouldn't say this because you seem like an awful nice lady, and congratulations on your graduation, dear.
Thank you.
But if you look on the back of the book, your picture is right over almost.
Wow. Food for
I'm
thought.
teasing you. However, you can't get along with everybody for one simple reason. They don't want to get along with you. I always use this example, and I use it in the book. Who was the only, okay, two sinless people who walked the face of the earth, but the one they killed, he was sinless. He didn't hurt anybody unfairly, and he killed him. So our Lord himself couldn't get along with everybody. So for us to expect that, if there are people in your lives that there's nothing you're going to do about it. But here's the problem, though. You can't sever the contact. This is your spouse's father. This is your brother. This is your adult child. You can't simply say, well, you know, you're a difficult pain in the bucket. Get out of my life. I'm happier if you're not around. You can't really do that, especially as a Christian. So you got to figure out, one, not necessarily how to make them be different, but not to be so affected by the way they are. That's the focus of a lot of the book.
I love it. Pain in the bucket. I got to remember that expression. That's a wonderful way to express yourself. Now, let's move on to your other new book, Family Faith Under Fire. Family Faith Under Fire. So you answer some very practical questions, and being practical is a marvelous thing. Many of our viewers would be, I think, particularly interested in how you'd answer this question from the book. So how, and I don't have any kids, but how do we get our toddlers to behave during Mass? How's that one?
Well, one of the pieces of advice, Bishop, that doesn't work is that you stand up front. You take the front seat. Because unless you're in the very, very front, all the little guy's going to see is somebody's backside. So, and plus, when he acts up, and toddlers are toughest of all, because between age 1 and 2, you really can't discipline them. You got to remove them from the scene. You got a long walk down that aisle to get out of that sanctuary with him fussing. And you got 27 pairs of eyes looking at you like, you know, I never let my kid act that way. Why is she letting her kid act that way? I always tell them, sit toward the back. Don't bring the Bible buffet in there. You know, you got these parents that got this whole array of caloric goodies to keep their 1.5-year-old occupied. Keep him somewhat oriented toward the front. Don't let him climb under the pew. Don't let him play peekaboo with the lady behind him, even though he's so cute. Keep him oriented toward the front. And recognize between the ages of 1 and 2, we used to average, I'd say, about 4 exits per Mass with our toddler until he got to be about age 2, 2.5, when we took him out of and stood him in the corner in the bathroom for acting that way. There's that never land period of discipline that sometimes you just got to exit the scene, but stay close to the back because you don't have as long a walk down the aisle.
Great wisdom from a dad of 10. Wow, you're amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we'd love to know, where can people buy How to Get Along with Almost Everybody and Family Faith Under Fire?
Sophia Press, EWTN, or my website, drray.com, drray.com. All the books are there. One question we got, do we have about a minute?
About 30 seconds.
30 seconds, real quick. The number one question I get is from older parents who say, my kids have left the faith. They reject it, they neglect it, they suspect it. In the book, I deliberately show them how to take their guilt away when they feel like they're failures about this. I tell people, my 10 kids are grown. Some going to serve the church, some of them probably going to serve time.
Another good reason to buy Family Faith Under Fire and How to Get Along with Almost Everyone. Dr. Ray, thank you so much for being with us. And what we're going to do is, to kind of smooth out the show, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to bring Dr. Kreeft in. How's that?
I'll get the Frisbees and the beach balls going.
Hey, thank you so much. God bless you and your family. Great to talk to you.
God bless. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.